looking in Staten Island, New York, well, one of the first things that you're going to want to do if you're going to live, work, and play here is make sure that you have a good agent to help represent you. How do you find that out? Well, here's my tips. What's up, everybody? My name is George S. Wonica. I am a local realtor right here in Staten Island, New York. Now, I have lived in Staten Island for the last, well, quite honestly, my entire life, and I've been practicing for the last 32 years. Now, everybody loves this real estate business because what ends up happening is everyone thinks it's a way of quick money. It's a quick buck, I can do this on the side, etc., etc., etc. Hold the phone. While some of that might be true, there are real consequences to being able to make sure you're dealing with a real true professional, and one, more importantly, that knows the business so that you don't get hurt. How do you know? Well, we're going to go through that in this video, and more importantly, make sure you stay tuned to the end for the most important thing that you have to be concerned about. A good agent is very well rehearsed in what's going on in the market. Sometimes that means that they've done a lot of inventory, but sometimes it doesn't mean that they have a lot of listings. It's how many things have they gotten closed? What's their actual production? I've watched a lot of people, I've been getting a lot of them, quite honestly, cards and postcards from agents saying that they're the #1 realtor. Beware. Ladies and gentlemen, statistics are like any other types of numbers. I can manipulate a statistic to show whatever I want it to show. When you sit back and look at some of these postcards, you need to be able to do your own diligence and your own research. Some postcards and information that comes from some of these agents is blatantly false. It is a blatant lie. How do you know? Well, I've done some auditing, if you will, of some of these postcards that I've been getting. I know a lot of people here in Staten Island probably know exactly the postcards that I'm referring to, but ladies and gentlemen, some of those postcards with some of those addresses are not properties that individual agent sold. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, you have to be able to trust the information that you are getting. Do not just go with the first person that you potentially see. I always recommend reaching out to 3 different agents and asking those agents, what have you done in the last 3 to 5 years? Nowadays, a lot of people always come back to is, well, George, my cousin Joey just got his license, and if I don't list with him, I'm gonna hear it from my family. I understand, I do. However, I've said this in other videos. This is the most important financial decision that people make next to getting married. So, would you trust cousin Joey or Louie or Janine or whatever to help you make the biggest financial decision that you're ever going to make? Now, with that being said, sometimes that's not a problem, right? Because cousin Joey, cousin Janine, whatever, has a mentor. They've been in the business for a couple of years. They have somebody that they work with that's very knowledgeable on the marketplace, right? Sometimes they don't. And it's very, very important that you understand that sometimes it might not be the best idea. At the end of the day, this financial asset, which is what a house is, as well as a place for your family to live in, is also a huge financial decision and a huge financial situation. So not this little hobby that somebody decides to do on their weekends, away from their other jobs. Now, not to say that there are people that do not have other jobs that are very good at this profession as a side gig, but for you as a regular member of the public, how do you find out the difference between the two? Well, I gave you the first reason, and the next part at the end is when I'm going to tell you exactly how you know. Well, the most important thing that you can ask of an agent is the deals that they have underneath their belt. Are you working with a mentor? How many years have you been in this business? Out of those amount of years, forget about top producer awards, company awards, all that other stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, they're garbage. Yes, I am saying it, they're garbage. Do you know why? Because those awards, ladies and gentlemen, don't mean anything. They're made off of statistics, they're manipulated off of statistics, and in what profession, what other profession financially do you see people getting awards for helping their clients? My biggest reward, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that the referrals that I get from my past clients. Those are the rewards that I get. Helping a first-time home buyer, those are the awards I get. All of that other stuff, ladies and gentlemen, is nothing more than paperweight. If you have somebody who is consistently touting their awards, you might have to check into it. #1 producer. You know what? I'm Staten Island's #1 rated agent, according to my wife and my kids. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking out today's video. For more videos on what it's like to live, work, play right here in Staten Island, New York, and any real estate related questions that you might have, you gotta do me a favor. You gotta hit that subscribe button below. Not only that, if you have a question that you wanna see me answer, then you gotta do me another favor. You gotta follow me on the social medias right over here. And more importantly than all that, make sure you do something nice with somebody you wouldn't normally do, and we'll catch you on the next video. Peace.